If you want to foster independence in your child with ADHD, you can absolutely do that. And what that means is that you need to make some changes, not your child. One of the things that people often don't understand about ADHD is that ADHD is not difficulty sustaining attention, it's difficulty regulating attention to things that are not interesting to the individual. Many kids with ADHD have a pretty narrow range of things that are interesting to them, and often things like developing independence are not something that is important to them like it is to kids without ADHD. Many kids with ADHD remain overdependent on adults to act as their executive functioning because there's not scaffolding in place to help them learn to use their own executive functioning, and because many kids with ADHD are fine with taking the path of least resistance and having adults do things for them that they are fully capable of doing on their own. I teach parents of kids with ADHD how to help their children build executive function skills in Executive Function Crash Course, which is part of the ADHD Dude membership site. I do not teach the typical strategies you see like hang up lists, make checklists, or use timers. Rather, we get to the foundation of these executive function challenges so kids can learn to use their own executive functioning, and parents can help move kids from prompt dependence, which means when you're telling your child, get this, do that, put on your shoes, to independence. That is one of the best confidence builders for kids with ADHD when they realize that they are much more capable than they thought they were. So if you want your child with ADHD to become more independent, there's a few things you have to do. Number one, you have to learn how to put scaffolding in place to help them learn to use their own executive functioning. An example of that would be the visual timeline I use, where the child sees themselves doing steps in a daily routine, because that way they can refer to that and see themselves doing the task rather than their parents prompting them or having to look at a checklist, which almost never work for kids with ADHD. Another way to scaffold independence is what's called gradual release of responsibility, which means you teach your child to do something, they do it together with you, then you watch them do it and support them if necessary, and then they do it themselves. Again, when kids learn new skills, even if they're not interested in it, like doing laundry, it gives them a sense of independence knowing that they can do the same things their similar age peers can do. Next thing, if you want to foster independence, is stop doing things for your child that they are fully capable of doing on their own. It is very common in families of kids with ADHD and other neurodevelopmental differences for parents to do a lot of enabling. What I mean by enabling is the parents are doing things for the child that the child can do themselves, either because the child doesn't want to do it, or they're not motivated, or there's no scaffolding in place to motivate them. We can help kids build motivation. That's something I teach in Scaffolding Better Behavior and in the Creating Daily Expectations course as well. The last part of fostering independence is to be cognizant of when your child is using noise, learned helplessness, or emotional manipulation to get out of doing non-preferred tasks that they were used to you doing for them. When kids with ADHD are presented with more responsibility through fostering independence, that is pushing them out of their rather narrow comfort zone, and often they're going to respond with noise, which is arguing or complaining for the sake of arguing or complaining, learned helplessness, which is acting that they're helpless and can't do something with the intention of getting you to rescue them. And many will resort to emotional manipulation. So saying things like, I'm stupid, I can't do it, because they want to evoke worry and guilt in you, so you'll rescue them from doing the non-preferred task. What you need to do is learn how to not respond to noise, learned helplessness, or emotional manipulation, because it's not helpful to your child. I teach how to do this in Scaffolding Better Behavior, the ADHD Dude Parent Behavior Training Program. Your child is absolutely capable of being more independent than they are right now, and they need scaffolding in place to do that. And they need you to change the way you're doing some things in order to foster that independence. And you can absolutely do this. Most importantly, it's going to help your child's self-confidence when they realize that they're much more capable than they thought they were. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.